Hi, everyone. This is Natasha from the Real Housewives of Pickleball. Thanks for joining us. I have my co-host, Neely
Hello,
Sullivan, in the house.
I'm in the
Woo!
house. Woohoo!
In the Real Housewives
Yeah,
of Pickleball
right.
house.
For the people who are viewing on our YouTube channel, obviously the listeners can't know,
Yes,
don't have no idea what we're doing, Tosh, but we are pointing to our backgrounds,
yes.
which say the Real Housewives of Pickleball. We're very bad at technology, but somehow we figured this out.
I mean, I think our timeline is very long, where
Remember,
people figure these things out like a lot sooner.
remember how it took
Takes
us
us a bit
almost a year to figure out how to add you to the Instagram?
to the Instagram. I know.
Oh
Yep,
God,
we're getting there though,
we
slowly
are.
but surely. Going on our pace, Neely.
That's right. That's right.
So we're here today. We have an interview after this, and we're gonna be talking to the one,
Mm,
the only,
yes.
number two pickleball female player in the world,
Say, girl.
Anna Bright.
Yeah.
She is on the pod and she came to say hello and to talk about the Academy, which is going to be releasing very soon.
Yep.
So stay and listen to Anna Bright coming up next. We will be giving a code
Hmm.
and how to sign up for the Academy in this podcast. So
Yeah.
listen up.
Yep.
And also, so Neely, what do you have going on? What
Oh,
tournaments are you going to?
goodness.
What kind of
Well,
drills you've been drilling, or what's your new shot?
oh gosh, where to begin? I've been drilling a lot. Um, in terms of tournaments, I don't know, new shot. I'm like always trying to add a million things. And then
Are you? Like
I
what?
go back to adding the basics, just
Yeah.
like a lot of different speed ups off the bounce to different spots and when mostly I would say right side. I've been focusing on playing right side because I think ultimately I'm a right side player, even though I
Okay.
do like playing left side and getting to be aggressive and pinching and
Hmm.
all that jazz. I think I'm mostly a right side player, especially when playing with the young people.
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe when I get to senior pro, I'll start to play left, but yeah, just working on a lot of different speed ups off the bounce from the right side, whether it's forehand or even a backhand. Rachel Rohrbacher does this really well, where she speeds up off the bounce from the right side
Hmm.
with her backhand,
Hmm.
speeding up at the cross court player's right hip. So I don't know. I'm always working on that. I'm working on my aerial speed ups, trying to stay a little bit more grounded. I'm trying to work on speed ups that are off speed as well, and
Hmm.
not working on not thinking about it in terms of that first shot, Tosh, right, is not the hero shot. That's not the finishing shot. That's not the hero shot. It's the
Yeah.
setup shot for the next one. And I think that has been very tricky for me to kind of pull off a little, like in my mindset as well, right? To pull
Yeah.
back and think, okay, this is the setup, the next one's the finish, right?
I
So
think the off speeds are definitely more lethal than
yes, they
a
can be.
full-on speed up.
Well, they can be too, because especially when people who are used to pace, right,
Hmm.
are expecting something hard coming at them, and then when it's off pace, off speed, they kind of don't know what to do with it. So yeah, I completely agree with that. But in terms of tournaments, I was signed up for a couple of tournaments, the women's draws, because I've really been on a women's kick lately.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, women's draws at the 4.5 plus level, the open draws do not get a lot of signups. And so two of the draws that I had signed up for, we were the only team who signed up. So I think that
Got it.
those aren't going to happen. Well, I know
Where, New York or?
one for sure was canceled at Camp Pickleball in Connecticut. And then the other one is in a Rhode Island draw. We're the only team signed up, and that's next weekend. So I think that's not going to happen.
Hmm.
So, in order to get a good, decent women's draw, you have to travel to either New Jersey or New York. I guess they just have more players
Yeah.
at that level. So, I've got something coming up in New York at Lifetime Pickleball NYC and playing with a great player, Gina Lee.
Mhm.
So, that's what's on my horizon. What about you? What have you been drilling? What tournaments are coming up for you?
Ah, such a lull. It's been
The
quiet.
low. Hmm.
Um, yeah, I've been drilling. I've been playing. It's kind of on and off. Not as consistent as I would like, but I'm not going to complain either. Um, and and I say that because there are, I think my body can afford to take some time off.
Mm,
And especially I'm considering this my kind of off season, although I am heading into our league season.
yeah.
So for the listeners, National Pickleball League has changed their name to Champion Series Pickleball, and we have partnered with MLP also. Uh, so dates that we were supposed to start in May have been pushed off till July.
Mm,
So that's what I'm saying. I'm in a little bit of a lull. And two, I think it's good for my body to have this break, especially as I will be heading into the season come July.
right.
Um,
Are you
so
still
my
with
next,
Seattle Tsunami?
uh, we will see. We
Oh,
shall see.
okay.
Yeah.
TBD, TBD, brother. You're
TBD.
being
Hold
very
that
coy.
thought.
You're being very coy over there.
I think I'm learning a thing or two from Anna Bright.
Which was an awesome discussion, by the way.
Yes, always.
Yeah.
She's just such a wealth of information and just how her brain thinks, right, about the game. She brought up the word conscious a lot. I loved that,
Yeah. Well,
right?
awareness is the first step. Well, I always, in more than just pickleball, I mean, pretty much in every area of life, having an awareness of something is the first step. But I meant to tell her before we got off that if she didn't have, remember how we did those posts about if you're a pro pickleball player, but if you weren't playing pickleball professionally, what would your jobs be? Well, I
Yes.
know we put her as a
Yes.
warden because she's like in the
A
prison warden
beast.
because she's a
She's a
beast
beast.
and just like when she's out there, she's just on a mission and she's just like ready to bring it. But I actually do think that another potential career path for Anna, if she ever decides to quit professional pickleball, would be a
Okay.
professor. Because
Yes.
the way I took the first
Not
iteration
a
of the
teacher. Well, the difference is what years of schooling? A professor.
oh no, like
Yeah.
a PhD level
Yes.
professor,
Yes.
because I was in
No,
the
no
first.
disrespect to teachers, just
No, none at all.
she is into the intellectual piece,
Yeah, the
right?
just the right, the way like the analysis and
Yeah.
her ability to communicate her ideas and the way she teaches and thinks about the game just made me think like she could be professor at like university level
Yeah.
in some topic. I don't know which one, but um
Pickleball.
well, yeah, right. Do you think they'll ever make universities ever make pickleball a
I mean, I have heard some really cool classes from colleges. I mean, one, for example, Academy in Florida, I know that they have a whole course for schools, and it's more high school level, but they talk about NIL with the students because they're there for sport. It makes sense, right?
what's NIL?
So, what does it stand for? But it's basically the money that from the NCAA colleges as they go on to further their career in sports, which they're most likely there for sports because they're at IMG, which is a heavy sports first school. Um, it is the money that the school makes off of sports, then gets contributed to the students for name, image, and likeness. That's what NIL stands for.
Oh, huh.
So the student athlete gets a cut of what the sport and their name, their image, and their likeness is making.
Oh, and they have
Yeah.
a whole court. Yeah, I guess that's a sports academy, but I'm talking like Yale, Harvard University. You think they're going to have,
I think so.
pickleball and
I
I don't
think so.
know.
They have content creators in Harvard having giving
You're right.
talks.
Pickleball
Yeah.
has comparisons to life, the journey of life. I don't. You could do all sorts of analogies playing pickleball and life lessons.
Yeah. I
Who
mean, there's
knows?
a business in pickleball too, the business side of pickleball.
Yeah, maybe a business school. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Um, So my next tournament
yeah.
coming up is in June. It's APP in Cincinnati, which
Oh,
that reminds me I have to get my hotel and I have to get my book my flight. That's in June, and then July we start up with CSP Champions Series Pickleball.
exciting. Very
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
All right, well, moving along to what? Pickleball in the news? And then
Yeah,
we'll get
pickleball in the
into,
news. It's been
yeah,
a while, Neely. So you
I
want to
know.
start us out?
Quick pick, right? We call this our quick pick segment.
Yes, yes.
Well, why don't you take it away with the first one?
Okay. So the first quick pick we have is pickleball added to the 2028 Olympics. Can you believe
Yay.
it?
Oh, we should have asked Anna about that. Damn it.
So I had heard there had been rumblings about getting pickleball into the Olympics, but it sounded like it was not going to happen. I think for a lot of reasons, but from what I know, mostly because of the international scope, getting pickleball into other countries outside of the United States, which I think we've done a really great job. The APP and PPA has had tournaments in Vietnam,
Right.
um, in other countries in Australia. And I think that's gotten more eyeballs on this
Yeah.
because just the other day I saw this post by the Kitchen Pickleball that pickleball was added to the 2028 Olympics. So LA 28 Summer Olympics will now have a pickleball as one of the official sports. How cool
I
is
just,
that?
I know it's so exciting. The other thing too is, pro pickleball is obviously fun to watch. I watch a lot of it,
Yeah.
and I like to study the players and learn from them. I mean, I'm not necessarily like rooting for, other than Anna, of course, because I was in her boot camp now called the Academy. Then of course it was really fun to cheer for her because I felt like we had the people in the boot camp had a relationship with her, so it was fun. But otherwise, I don't know if I really care that much, but I think the Olympics is a whole other scenario, right? It's like, how fun is it to cheer for people representing your country? That's what I think is going to be exciting. So I think I'll be tuning in and just, obviously really, really excited for the people who are representing us, the US. And yeah.
Yeah, my mind is already thinking how that process is going to work. Are
Yeah,
there
how
going
do
to be
they go about choosing the
tryouts or is it going to be based on ranking or is there going
Well,
to be
how is
a
it done in
committee who
tennis?
chooses?
How is it done in tennis and other sports?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh, well, there has to be a coach, right? Does the coach choose? I'm thinking of golf, like the Ryder Cup, but that's different from the Olympics. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It'll
I
be
don't know.
interesting.
I
But
would hope.
pickleball, what?
No, go ahead.
So pickleball now joins flag football, squash, cricket, lacrosse, baseball, and softball as the newest additions to the LA 2028 Olympic Games.
Yeah, it was funny you mentioned squash too, because when I was in the squash scene many, many years ago, in my mid to upper 20s, early 30s, I was all about squash. I was bit by the squash bug, as many people are bit by the pickleball bug. And I remember that was the big topic of discussion. When is squash going to make the Olympics? And it had been, squash has been around for a while. And it took forever and ever and ever. And now I guess they're finally in there. But squash is, I think, less accessible than pickleball, right? It's an indoor sport. You got to have these big facilities with glass, and it's not so easy as just putting down some kind of concrete and some nets. So I
Right,
think pickleball is
right,
a lot more accessible and a lot easier to kind of catch fire in other countries as opposed to squash. But yeah,
right.
excited for squash and of course pickleball.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And the next quick pick we have, go for it,
Oh,
Neely.
right. Yes. The next quick pick we had, and I kind of want to read from uh, this People magazine article. So this comes back to the Real Housewives. And of course, we are known as the Real Housewives of Pickleball, but there is an actual real housewife named Jill Zarin. She was originally Real Housewives of New York, right?
She was, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So she is being sued uh, by a former business partner in her pickleball company, Pickle Pro Labs, in a civil complaint filed by Noah Springer. And you said you knew Noah, Tosh, right?
I met Noah at a tournament. Actually, we played at Kingsbury. right here
Oh,
in
oh, no way.
yeah. Yep.
Okay, yeah. In a civil complaint, the 62-year-old Real Housewives of New York City alum is accused of breaching her alleged arrangement with Springer in what his attorneys describe as an effort to cut Springer out of the company's earnings. He claims in the complaint that he invested 500,000 into the company, formerly known as Innovation Studios, in December 2022, granting him a 25% ownership stake. The company was later renamed Pickle Pro Labs in 2024. In the complaint, Springer says that he invested in the company because he trusted Zarin to act on behalf of Pickle Pro and in the best interest of same, per the complaint. It also alleges that he advanced funds and business expenses to the company while providing services and labor, was never reimbursed. So I don't know. People need to be very careful about where they invest money, Tosh. You
Hmm.
know, like don't just throw money at something because there's like a big name attached to it. And then there was like all those, what were those Ponzi schemes with these pickle? Have you heard about those? The Ponzi schemes with the pickleball people. They have these pickleball companies. It's like a Ponzi scheme. There was just some big case of fraud. Did you hear about that?
Oh,
It was like a
yeah, was
father and
that
son or something.
yeah, that was at the courts in Arizona,
Okay,
right?
right, right.
Like it's a whole it was I played a tournament there. It's a whole field system. They have pickleball courts, they have like baseball, softball fields, soccer fields, like I forget what they call them, but yeah,
Well, and everyone's wanting to get in on the pickleball craze now, right? Because it's the
that's the
best.
buzz.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah,
you still have to make sure you trust who you're doing business with.
right. And we would
Yeah.
just like to say, we are the Real Housewives of Pickleball. We have nothing to do with the Real Housewives franchise or Bravo or any of these swindling Real Housewives like Jill Sarin. But I don't know.
No scandals
Obviously,
here.
no scandals here. I don't know. Maybe she's fully innocent. This is just like a lawsuit that just happened. It's all alleged. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, no scandals here. Not yet, at least.
Is she giving our name a bad rap?
Yeah, I don't know. Come on, Jill Zarin. Do you watch the real? Because I used to be a big fan, but and now there's a Real Housewives of Rhode Island that's just coming out.
Oh my God, I love them all.
Yeah, I don't watch them as much anymore because now it's just I've got Netflix and Amazon Prime and I've got a million things streaming. So, but yeah, I was obviously a big fan in the past.
I watch them all.
Which one was your favorite?
Ooh, favorite? Beverly Hills is definitely up there.
Beverly Hills is up there for sure.
Yeah. New York is up there.
New York was good with Bethany Frankel, I remember, and you were sort of watching her journey to find love and rooting her on in that. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, those were great seasons. Even after that, they were still really good. Different
Yeah.
and
And the
really still
OC, the OC, that was the
interesting.
original, right?
Orange County,
This was,
yes, I believe so. Yeah.
yeah, that was the
Yeah, they're
original
still
one.
around. They still
Yeah.
have, yep.
Oh, and then Atlanta, of course, we can't forget Atlanta. My
Atlanta. Oh my
God,
God,
the
there's so many.
drama,
There's the
Nene
Potomac.
Leakes, drama. Oh my God.
There's I think Dubai.
Salt
There was
Lake City?
London. What?
London, yes, yes.
That was a cool one.
Right.
Um
It's so
they,
predictable though, the Real Housewives. I mean, you know exactly what is going to there's going to be people who are warring and then by the end of that season they make up and then the next season they become best friends and then like everything it's so formulaic, but for some reason you can't stop and then they go on the big trip and I don't, I want this trip to be all,
calm and peaceful
calm and
and
peaceful and right. And then of
about
course it always
friendship.
right,
Yeah.
friendship. It always devolves into chaos and drama. And like, but sometimes you think, oh, maybe it will be all, peace and calm and friendships, but you trick yourself into thinking it'll be different, and then it
Yeah.
never
Well,
is. So,
that's why you watch.
right, right. I know,
That's
I
why
know.
I watch. And plus my life is boring. So
Of course, of
that's like
course.
that adds all the excitement because all
Yeah.
I
Well,
watch is
maybe
either Pro Pickleball or the Real Housewives series.
right. Well, maybe we need to inject a little like spice into it. Maybe we should contact Andy Cohen, see if he'll come up with Real Housewives of Pickle. Like we could be on an actual reality TV show, and then we could get some drama going,
Yeah,
you know?
that would do it. I'm sure Andy has the mind to get the drama in.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was our quick pick for today's episode, but we're getting into Anna Bright
Yes.
coming up in part two of this episode. She's gonna be talking all about her academy and just some other thoughts in general on pickleball and what it means to be, a female creator in this industry. And yeah, she's pretty incredible. So excited for you guys to hear.
We asked her about the start of her career from her 2022 debut.
Yep.
Yeah, and she shares a lot of really great tips, some insider tips that she shares with the listeners for pickleball players that you can add to your game
Yep.
today. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so take a
All right.
listen.
We'll see you on the other side.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we are here with the one, the only, the number two pickleball player in the world, Miss Anna Bright.
Woo!
So excited. So, we are going to talk all about Anna's Brighter Pickleball Boot Camp, of which I was a member for the very first iteration. I've been talking a little bit about it on some of our recent episodes. And now she is coming out with round two, which I am so excited about for you, Anna. Uh, but first, I have something to admit to you. You are my official pickleball girl crush. Um, because I was thinking about it, when I was your age, when I was 26, I was in Boston in a job that like I didn't really care about. I was going out to the bars, chasing after boys, and you're 26 and you're building a freaking pickleball empire. And I don't know. I think you're incredible. I really think this is what you were born to do.
Oh my
And I know a lot of people blow smoke up your ass, but you're so cool. Like you're smart, you're pretty, you're this incredible athlete. You've got this really quirky sense of humor, and I think also this is super important for female contributors in this industry. You seem to have a thick skin. Like things kind of just roll off of you.
God.
And I don't know, like maybe it's different behind the scenes, but I think you can't really have too much of a thin skin in this industry if you're going to be a major public figure, and especially in a male-dominated sport and industry. You're going to have the naysayers and the keyboard warriors, who I remember for that singles match. Remember that singles
Oh
match
my
you were playing,
God.
and they came out of the woodworks just to pile on you.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
yeah.
so
100%. That was crazy.
you're going to have the cheerleaders and the supporters, of course, who think you're amazing, but I think you have to be able to navigate the negativity at times, and you're doing it all so well. You're so poised. But let's dive right in and talk about the Brighter Pickleball Boot Camp. This was a game changer for me and my own pickle journey. So I'd love for you to explain the basic concept, the structure, and how it all works.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you guys. I'm so happy to be here. So honored. Like Neil, you're just flattering me like my ego right now.
I'm building
Like
you up.
literally building me up.
Yeah,
Like, oh
buttering
my
you up.
gosh. Thank you. Um, but yeah, so the brighter pickleball, the boot camp was the first iteration. Now we're kind of switching to the academy, which is just language that kind of the boot campers were like, we think this is more of like an academy than a boot because it's so long and there's so much. I was like, okay, I think you guys are
Mhm.
right. So we're kind of switching to academy language, kind of to embrace the fact that it really is a course. I think a lot of people don't really understand that until you're kind of in the thick of it, but it's not like it's not an unstructured community. I felt really, really uninspired by the idea of doing something like that because I saw some other pros doing it and I'm a big like walking pad person and I'm just like I'm on my little walking pad and I'm thinking and I'm just like I don't want to do that. Like that doesn't feel right. That doesn't inspire me and I want to do something that inspires me. And then I had this idea like popped for me, and I have all of these pieces of paper of me like brain dumping and, like the foundations of pickleball and like building out a structured course and like a syllabus around things that I thought were really, really kind of foundational to how I viewed pickleball, right? And I know like when you applied, Neely, I had some people were guessing, oh, like what are the seven foundations of pickleball? And people are like, serve, thinks, drops. And it's just like, no, actually, no, things are really important, of course, but like they're not like pickleball at its core per
Yeah.
se. So, I felt really inspired to build out this true, like structured college style course around the foundations of pickleball, where if you're serious and, you want to put in the work and the time, I think that you can get so much out of it,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
that's kind of
mean,
what it is.
it was a game changer for me because it was really a different, and I'm a 5.0 plus player, but it was really a different way of thinking about the game that I had been used to.
Right.
And talking about those sort of seven foundations and going through each one kind of week at a time. And
Mhm.
also what I loved about the camp was just the camaraderie amongst
Right.
all of us. And you have people to bounce ideas off of, and posting clips and everybody kind of offering their analysis, and we still have a WhatsApp app.
I
Yeah,
know. Every now and then I get sent screenshots from it, like so funny. Like,
I know it's incredible, and everybody is in there such a fan. They're always posting like when your matches are going to be,
oh my gosh.
and I remember when the boot camp ended, I sort of felt like down in the dumps, Anna. I was sort of like, oh
Oh,
no, what now? I was telling Tosh I felt completely rudderless. Like I don't know, because the program is structured. This week you're going to go out, you're going to do these drills, you're going to work on these specific skills, and I was sort of like, oh my God, what am I going to do now?
Natasha, can you confirm was Neely okay?
She was she handled it well, but she was definitely, yeah, didn't was a little nervous right after.
Well, I
Oh
remember
I
no.
wanted
telling
to
you,
check in on her too because I know how much she really enjoyed the boot camp.
yeah, I remember telling you I feel sort of
Yeah.
rudderless now, and I've sort of been, well, it's funny because a few of us in the boot camp have been joking that like maybe we'll sign up again, for a
Oh
second
my
time.
gosh. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So,
so true because, I know I used to take a lot of, I was a yoga teacher. I am a yoga teacher, and I would take a lot of classes, certifications, but I could always take like a foundational class over and over again and learn so much more the second time, the third time, the fourth time. So it probably is something that students could take your academy now over and over again.
I mean, that would be the biggest compliment,
Yeah.
honestly. That would truly be the biggest compliment, but it's kind of like just kind of going back to what I was saying earlier and kind of you're saying about, these like I think these like isolated classes, like that's kind of how I think now about like isolated clinics. And I don't do many clinics anymore at this stage in my career, but I just think it's tough to have the same kind of impact as I felt like I was able to have on like Neely and everyone else in the first group because I think so many of these foundations like they build on each other, and I feel like when I do like a 2 hour, hour and a half clinic with people, it's like I feel like the main thing they're going to remember is like my energy. I'm like, okay, they may remember one thing I say, but they'll remember my energy. So I try to be super like rah, rah, really hype. But as far as actually, making an impact on people's games, I think it can be difficult. I think sometimes things like that just take time, honestly.
yeah. And one of the things too that I loved, kind of, I wasn't sure when you were great about emailing me in the early stages when I was like, I don't know if this is the right thing for me. Like, I'm a 5.0 player. Like, is some of this stuff going to help me? Because it is for advanced students, correct?
Yes, yeah, it's I think a lot of these skills and the this level of understanding kind of is more beneficial once you can play pickleball a little bit more consciously. So I do think things in it can benefit everyone, but once you're at a point where you need to develop a higher level of consciousness in your play, I think that's when it really like compounds.
Right. And the funny thing was that like I was amazed at how just going back to the basics, and maybe even at your level sometimes you have to do this and remind yourself of the basics, but even just going back to the basics for me, like that first week when we talked about I think it was the first week, second week maybe,
Yeah.
mobility
Mhm.
and footwork, and we were instructed to kind of watch ourselves back on tape. And I watched myself back and I'm like, what, I was a college tennis player. I thought I had mastered the split step. And I'm watching myself back and I'm just sitting there like an oaf, like not split stepping. I'm not bouncy, like you say you got to be bouncy
Yeah.
out there. And it
Mhm.
was like a game changer for me because it allowed me to put my focus back on something so fundamental and basic, but something that really makes a difference.
Affects everything. It affects everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything.
I
Yeah.
can see how some people, some players would not want to watch themselves.
No
So,
one does.
Okay.
yeah. So,
Do
so
you
if you,
like when you watch yourself back? I mean, come on, you must be like, all right, I'm pretty good out there, like, but do you have a tough time
oh, I thought
watching
you were talking
yourself?
about me.
No, no, Anna. Do you have a tough time watching yourself, Anna?
I think it's kind of like listening to the sound of your own voice, and you get a little bit more numb to it the more that you do it.
Yeah.
I would say, like right now, I'm going to be honest, like the sound of my own voice doesn't bother me at all. When I first started on my content grind, I was like, oh my God, it's terrible. So I think it's a similar experience with watching yourself back, but I often I think I told some of the boot campers, like, if it's really tough to watch yourself in 1.0 speed, like throw it on 1.25. Like you should still get most of the benefit out of it. So generally,
That's a
I
good
probably
tip.
it is, because you
Yeah.
still see the same patterns and everything, but sometimes it's just it can be a bit painful. So even I'll just speed it up just for, sake of like pace of, so I can get through things a little faster. But that is a tip. It's like if you feel like you look like an absolute lumbering oaf, you're still going to look like a lumbering oaf at 1.25, but it might be a little easier to kind of get through it.
Yeah, you do. You look a little bit more like, right, like the ball's going a little bit faster, harder. So yeah, I had never thought of that either, but that is a good tip.
So it sounds like the boot camp offers accountability there. So if there's someone, who's, knows that these extra steps to take to become a better player, knows about them, has heard them, has been told them, but just doesn't do it. If you take this boot camp, you would be held to it. So that would be great for that kind of a player, right?
Yes, like in theory, I'm not like nagging, people every week, like,
Hmm.
hey, you didn't submit the homework, like WTF, but it's kind of like a commitment people are making to themselves to an extent, like
Hmm.
it's it's a course, and it's not like we're actually in college and I'm assigning everyone, an A, an A minus, a B plus and everything, but there is another, there's a form waiting for you, and if you want direct feedback, from someone who knows the game very well, you need to do it. And that I think that's kind of a cornerstone of the course is honestly the homework, and they're extensive. There's a lot of questions. There's kind of a few components to it. There's like a self-reflection component in a few spots. There's assigned drilling a lot of weeks. There's watching yourself back, playing games when you're really hyper focused on a skill or two. I'm really big on intentionality. I think that is so key. If you're just going out and you're just kind of see ball, hit ball, you're very reactionary. Like, I'm not telling people to not have fun. You can have fun and still like really be focused on a few things, and not being lackadaisical. Like, kind of like Neely was saying, if you just focus on your footwork, you'll play so much better. It's kind of
Hmm.
crazy. It's really something that impacts everything.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. The homeworks are pretty extensive. I think some of them I might have made a little bit too long.
I know sometimes I'm like, oh God, I gotta get through this whole form, but no, it just showed your commitment and dedication, how much you cared.
Yeah, I cared a lot about this. I cared a lot about this. I lost a lot of sleep for this. It's funny. Some people in the program in the first session they were like worried about me. They're like, "Does Anna sleep? Like, do you sleep?" And I'm just
I know, it was true. It was like, how
like,
is she
if I
doing
deserve
all
it
this? Who
free.
are you? Are you secretly like a superhero, like a superhuman or something,
Oh
like
my
from the
God, I
Marvel
wish.
comics?
I wish. I
Yeah.
wish. It's kind of funny. I kind of felt like the first few weeks of the program, like I wasn't playing tournaments. I had like a nice break. It's kind of why we launched early December because I wasn't playing Daytona. So I had like a good. I felt like I was like really trying to absolutely crush it. So once my tournament schedule started, like I had a little more leniency. Everyone was like bought in and everything, and it was okay if like I was a little late to get something to them or other. But
No,
it
you
was such a fun journey, and just I felt so proud. It's one of the like launching this is one of the proudest things I'm most proud of in my life, just because I felt like I was kind of putting myself out there in a way I hadn't before. And just, like I'm sure with you guys with this podcast, like it's tough to kind of put yourself out there in a position where you could fail, and you could fail kind of not super publicly, but you could fail. And so I was just really proud, and I felt like this was my baby, and
yeah.
everyone in the program was also kind of my babies, and it was a really fun adventure, and I'm really really excited for the future with it as
Well,
well.
it's actually, you raise a good point, because, like your boot camp, now the academy and our podcast, it's about taking a risk and putting yourself out there.
Hmm.
And I think for a lot of women, I mean, we're in a very male dominated industry in sport.
Mhm.
And I think it's difficult sometimes for women to take risks. And we talked about this just recently on our episode with Pickleball Nikki. Um, how is that for you as a young woman trying to launch this empire of yours? And how is that for you? Is it difficult? What do you say to other women who kind of want to take chances, but they're a little bit nervous and full of, a little bit of doubt?
Yeah, it is. I think it is really hard. I think it's really hard for anyone, but it's kind of like you said earlier. I think for women there is a little bit more sometimes of like a magnifying glass, and kind of like a need to have a bit of a thicker skin at times because there are all these people who just like to take shots at you for not much reason other than that you're held to a bit of a different standard, because you're a woman. And it is something that I'm proud of to be doing. Like I think, regardless I'd be proud, but just, it's not like the kitchen's word is the end all be all, but you look at, that little list they made of like the 100 most influential people, just like, dang, like there should really be more girls on here. In
Mm,
theory, there really should be, right? Because
yeah.
pickleball as a at the rec level, the playing level, like yeah, there are more men than women who play, but it's not by a big margin. Pickleball is so special because of mixed doubles and how mixed doubles is not kind of like a jokey like side event like it is in tennis to an extent. It's not like it'd be wrong for me to say it's a complete joke, but in junior tennis, like you hardly ever play mixed doubles, but in pickleball, it's such a huge deal. And
Right.
I feel like at the higher levels of the sport, in the business perspective, it'd be great, to have more women kind of represented there. So I think it's really cool, and I think I'm really excited to take the academy to the next level because I think people see my grind, they see my hard work as kind of a content creator and everything, and me trying to lean into being a little bit more of an influencer and
Mm.
everything. But I think that's still expected isn't the right thing, but it doesn't like challenge the status quo so much. But it's kind of like people are about to see, when this full push goes live for the academy, it's like, you know, it's possible. There's so much that is possible, and like you can be a beast. So
Yeah,
I'm really excited, honestly.
I love that. I
I
love
love
that.
it. I love it. Um, and I wanted to talk about, I want to take you back. I want to take you back to 20, I think it was 2022. It was
Okay.
your first pro tournament in Punta Gorda where
Mm-hmm.
you played women's with Georgia Johnson. So this is my fangirl opportunity, Neely.
Okay, I'm not your only girl crush.
Yeah. Well, I was watching that. I remember watching that. I even rewatched it because I thought it was just such a cool match. You played against Simone and I can't remember her partner.
Corinne Carr.
Yes, Corinne Carr. But you like stirred up such a commotion because I remember the commentators were talking about you. This is your first pro tournament. How you were owning the court just like you do today, with your aggressive style play. And I was wondering, was that the catalyst for you to get more involved into pro pickleball? And how did things for you feel during that tournament, after that tournament?
Oh yeah, I mean that tournament was really when my life like totally, totally changed. Before then, pickleball was something I loved and was super addicted to, but I had only been playing about 4 months, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
I think getting that good that fast just kind of A, speaks to my very addictive personality, and two, to just kind of like right place, right time, being very, very lucky with my kind of life situation, playing situation, physical location, a lot of good players around. Um, and I just like it's funny when I don't have too much memory of that match. I was in such a true flow state, and you can see I just look carnal. I just look so like I want to like just chomp on something with my
Beast
You were
mode.
you were on
yeah.
a
Yes,
mission. You were on a
I was on an
mission.
active
yes.
mission. Like I got like Adderall accusations for that match, and I was like, "Yo, like I'm rich. Like I'm just crazy." I was like, "I'm just absolutely crazy." It's like you guys have never seen a good competitor before. Like
Love
no,
it.
That's amazing.
kind of funny. But that was really when my life changed. Like the next day or the next couple of days, I was getting calls from,
Yeah.
Ken Herman, from Connor Pardo, Jill Braverman, who was CEO of Duper at the time. Like it was just really, really crazy. And that's when pickleball went from being something that I was like just obsessed with, kind of as something I did for fun. And then I kind of knew in theory that I could be really good at it. So it's like, this is right in front of my face. Like I could actually be really good at it. It was kind of like one of those things when something becomes like reality right in front of your eyes. It's like, oh my gosh, my life is changing. So much has happened. Since then, I only
Yeah.
worked a true corporate job for about, I started like my job like early January, so about 2.5 months. And then Duper, you know, came to me and was like, we want you to work for us because I majored in like data science and business, so it made sense. And they're like, you can play your pickleball. So again, insanely lucky for me. So did that for about 6 months while I was getting better and improving and getting to where I could, truly justifiably play full-time professional pickleball. So that tournament was really what changed everything for me.
Yeah, that was
And
amazing.
I want to say too, I don't know if you've ever listened or watched that tournament, but in looking back, because I see pickleball now, and how it's being televised and the commentators, there was none of that before. And I feel like that was like the start because I remember Dominic Catalano, he was live commentating your tournament, your match, and he was saying that he was getting text messages from players looking for your number because of your play at that tournament. And I was like, that is just, that was a start of like personality on the court, I feel like.
Oh, I don't know about that, but thank you. But yeah, it was crazy. My phone was blowing up, a
Yeah.
lot of men in particular wanting to play mixed with me. I was like, I've never been so desired by men in my life. And thank you. So it was I don't know, it was definitely the start of something, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, Anne, I know we only have you for a short amount of time, but I do have one question before we kind of head out. I think one of the things that's a challenge for me, and I know regardless of what level player you are, is this feeling like, I've reached my ceiling, I've reached a plateau. The journey of pickleball is very much like a roller coaster, peaks and valleys, ups and downs. Um, and there have been times where I felt that way, and then I discover a new shot or a new movement or a new
Right.
strategy, and I sort of come out of that slump and I'm excited again, but then I hit the ceiling again, the plateau. Like, what would you say to players who experience this and how to kind of manage it all?
I'd say it's a very, very normal feeling for one. It's just kind of like you're saying, like it's normal, it's natural, it's not something to beat yourself up to it. It's kind of like a this too shall pass.
Mm,
And improvement is not linear, it's like an S curve. That's why we all get so addicted to pickleball when we first start. It's like this feeling of you you're going to learn something new every single day, but eventually, you just have to work harder for those same incremental improvements. And I would just say I think a huge part of it is going to be about becoming more conscious with your game. And you have to kind of be watching yourself and kind of realizing these like small, minute things that will compound and make a big impact for you. So I think you might need to like work on drilling more, implementing more like three-person drilling and just watching yourself. And I think it's something that, what I've built is pretty good at kind of helping people develop is that skill of being more conscious, enhancing the pickleball IQ because we play a game where it's so far from being a solved game. I play at the very highest level and I am always figuring things out. I'm watching Anna Lee figure things out. I'm watching Ben and Hayden and all my peers are still figuring things out.
mm.
So there's kind of like the worse you are to an extent, the more there is to figure out. You just kind of gotta figure it out because we're
Right,
still figuring
right.
things out at the very like echelon of what the game can look like. So I think that's really, really fun. And of course,
And
everyone has, different body mechanics and different physical abilities, but everyone can get better.
yeah, and you talked about in the boot camp too. It's like kind of almost what's the lowest hanging fruit sometimes too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's a
like
huge thing, right? Because for a lot of people, there's a big difference between what you're worst at and what might be your lowest hanging fruit. Like if you are 60 years old and you don't move the best, but you also miss every fourth dink that's hit right to you, should you spend a bunch of time working on, your movement or like work on up in that consistency at the line because you're floppy with your wrist and you're not giving yourself the space. You have to kind of keep your lowest hanging fruit. I talk about Matt Wright a lot. He's
yeah,
such an amazing player. He doesn't have poor footwork. His footwork is amazing, but he just doesn't move as well as he did when he was 10 years younger.
right.
So what's the lowest hanging fruit for him? Is it really to work on trying to, get back the level of natural mobility he had 10 years ago? Like, no, his
Right.
footwork is great. You just can't help it. Everyone gets older. Father time takes no prisoners.
True.
So that's just kind of the most blatant example. But there's the concept of your lowest hanging fruit is something that it's good to be really, really aware of as well.
Yes,
Your
agreed.
That's a
worst thing
great
is not
tip.
always your worst thing is not always the thing that your time is best devoted to.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. Love that.
And just one more question to come back to the academy. You've worked with so many types of players at this point, different levels, different mindsets. And I know someone listening wondering if your boot camp is right for them. Sorry, if the academy is right for them.
Good catch.
What does your ideal student look like, and what kind of transformation have you seen your students go through that you could share with us?
Oh my gosh. My ideal student is someone who is like serious, dedicated, and just wants to put in the work. Like that was Neely in a nutshell, honestly. Neely is posting in the community all these extra clips of her hitting
I
all
was
these
on the
different
medal
shots
board, Anna. I was on the
on
medal
the
board of
medal board for
contributors.
activity. Like that. I want people who like want to get better. That is the
Yeah.
thing. That's when is any coach, any teacher in any profession, that's when who you get the most fulfillment out of helping. And I think that's really exciting. I love helping people who feel like they're kind of at that plateau and everything and just that feeling of helping them get past it because I think the boot camp, the academy, what's so great about the course is that it allows you to improve on like two tracks at once. I say that most pickleball coaching you're going to find on YouTube in your clinics, in your lessons, they kind of just focus on the technical track, which is your mechanics. How does your wrist move? How your elbow's too close to the ball, all of this stuff, which is very, very important. But that doesn't develop your IQ and your ability to think consciously and understand why you need to be doing a certain thing, like what you should be doing. The mechanics is just kind of like the how, but the other big questions, that is really what high level pickleball is about. And I always say that what separates me from, a different a 5-0 woman is not really my natural power. It's not really my natural hand speed. It's not really my natural footwork. It's not really things related to athleticism. There are tons of women with better tennis backgrounds than me who've been playing for a long time. And what separates us is my ability to see the game and my IQ and my ability to kind of work smart, in what I choose to work on. And so I think the academy is so special in that with the direct feedback component and, the emphasis on introspection, you can kind of see those things that will allow you to improve on like the technical track. But then a lot of the structure and the framework that we're providing allows you to also develop on the more kind of intellectual track, which becomes really important to play more consciously and not reactionary and to be able to see the things that you aren't previously seeing. So
Yeah.
anyone is lit up and interested by the things I'm saying, get into the academy. It'll
OMG, you
really change your game.
Tasha's raising her hand.
Neely, you're gonna have to sign up again.
Oh my God. Yeah, we'll go through it together. Well, actually,
Yeah,
one final point before we head out, but
yeah.
is that I would recommend if you can, it's an application process still, Anna, right?
We're actually not doing applications
Oh,
this go.
okay. Okay,
We're
that's
not
good because if you
go
can
around.
sign up for this academy with a friend or fellow local players, I would highly recommend it because you're going to be doing all of these various drills. And it's nice to be able to have somebody else, right, who kind of understands the academy and understands the structure and understands all of the lingo, right, that you're using.
Right. Yes, there's a whole like cachet of terms,
Yes.
honestly, that I that will be, that there's that I think I don't know, I'm getting a little bit nerdy here, but I think it's kind of as an example of I think I introduce some concepts to people and it's kind of like an example of how your thoughts are limited to an extent by your language and then you provide language to describe certain things and it's like, oh, aha moment.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but definitely there's a lot of drilling and I do think it's helpful to have someone pretty bought in who kind of understands and is kind of going through the same thing to kind of speak to what Neil said. The community aspect is not really something that I talk about too much in marketing materials or, on the website because people aren't going to be like, oh, I'm going to sign up for this, this course that's a pretty serious commitment because I'll make friends. That's not really why people
Right.
do something like this. Everyone is motivated by self-improvement, but I think the what's so cool about it is, it's kind of like college, you're all going through the same thing together. Everyone's like grinding together.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of suffering together. Everyone's doing the homework together, but then everyone is also having those aha moments together. Everyone is cheering each other on. And that's something that you can't really understand, I think, until you're kind of into it. That was a surprise for me. I felt like at first everyone in the course was kind of there because of me and, everyone was like supporting me and my tournaments, but then it became like Neely's posting, she just got silver at like a really big money ball. Sophia O'Keefe is posting she just like won a men's tournament, like Lindsay is winning, her first 5-0 medal, and there's like all of these like great moments and everyone is so happy for each other. So it's not really something that I think kind of translates maybe to written media as well when I talk about the academy, but it's something that's really special. So having people that you can kind of drill with who kind of understand is definitely helpful. And the community piece is a big part of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was also the first time that I've ever really cared about cheering for a professional pickleball. I mean, I love watching it, but I'm
For
never like
sure.
invested. And in
Uh-huh.
that tournament where it was the final week of the academy, and you were playing with Hayden against Annalie and Ben, and you would kind of talk about, your struggles playing against them with us in the boot camp, and it was that turn you won that
Yeah.
incredible match, and we were all so happy. And it was the first time I actually sat in a pickle match and was like cheering and like, yeah, yeah, come on, Anna, come on, Hayden, like, and that just felt so cool. But yeah, to reiterate your point about the camaraderie we all had with each other and with you was pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was something that's so precious, so like near and dear to my heart. Honestly, I was like, oh my God, like they
yeah.
all love each other. They love this.
Yeah, it was great. All right, well, we're sort of out of time here, Anna, but is there anything you want to say about where can people go to find where to sign up
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
like I don't know if you're handing out like a discount code that you want to talk about or anything else.
No, I think so brighterpickleball.com is going to be your home for all the information on the academy and how to register and everything. We're also hosting a few informational webinars, which again, you can find the details and add them to your calendar all on brighterpickleball.com. And then as far as codes go, maybe some of you guys who know Neely, dedicated listeners to the Real Housewives of Pickleball, you guys can stay tuned.
Yeah. Oh, great. Okay.
Love
Excellent.
it.
We'll be sure to push that out when it's time.
She's
Awesome.
building, building.
Thank you so much, Anna. This has been great, and I will continue to follow along as
We
you
all will.
go
Yeah.
go up and up and up in your not only your pickleball career as a pro player, but as somebody who's building an academy and again a pickleball empire.
Oh, thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for having me on.
All
Really
right.
appreciate it.
Thank you
Take
for being
care.
so generous with your time, Anna.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye bye. How are you?
Amazing.
How are you?
Hi.
Oh, you look so good. Your hair looks so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Look at us.
Um,
We're all done up. We're not on a court. We don't have ponytails.
I
So
know. I decided to get a little bit glammed up because we're real
yeah.
housewives.
I love it. I love it. I love the necklace, Neely. So
Thank
pretty.
you. Thank you. And this is Natasha. You guys haven't met, obviously, but
No, hey Anna, how
Hi,
are you?
Natasha. I'm amazing. How are you doing?
Good.
all
Love to
right.
hear it.